Namaskar to all of you. On behalf of Vivekananda Study Circle JNU, we welcome our speakers, delegates, and dear friends to this virtual meeting on Swami Vivekananda's Patriotism by Swami Ishatmananda ji. We start today's program as usual with a recital of Vedic chanting from Taittiriya Upanishad, a part of the Yajurveda. So for that, I request our VSC member Prachiti to begin the program with the recital of the mantra. Prachiti, over to you.
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Om. May we, teacher and student, be protected. May we both be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our intellect be sharpened. May our study be effective. Let there be no animosity amongst the teacher and the taught. Om. Peace in me, peace in nature, peace in divine forces.
Thank you, Prachiti. So, a brief introduction about VSC JNU I would like to give. So, the Vivekananda Study Circle VSC of Jawaharlal Nehru University JNU, New Delhi, was formed on 1st of November 2014 to study the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Sharada Devi with the aim of molding our lives based on the Vedantic truth of oneness. So, VSC JNU is a non political, non religious, non profit, independent organization run by faculty members, students, and alumni of JNU. We usually meet every Saturday to study the scriptures and the works of Swami Vivekananda and practice chanting and meditation. We also hold public talks and retreat programs. So, we are celebrating Swamiji's birth anniversary with a special lecture series now. So we welcome today's everyone to the first talk in this series. I would like to request Arpita Mitra to read a few excerpts from Swamiji's writings. Arpita Didi, over to you.
Namaskar. Here are a few excerpts from Swamiji's letters. Jealousy is the central vice of every enslaved race, and it is jealousy and want of combination which cause and perpetuate slavery. You cannot feel the truth of this remark until you come out of India. The secret of Westerners' success is this power of combination, the basis of which is mutual trust and appreciation. Truth always triumphs. One word of truth can never be lost. For ages it may be hidden under rubbish, but it will show itself sooner or later. Truth is indestructible. Virtue is indestructible. Purity is indestructible. Be pure, staunch, and sincere to the very backbone, and everything will be all right. Give me a genuine man. I do not want masses of converts. Wait, money does not pay, nor name. Fame does not pay, nor learning. It is love that pays. It is character that cleaves its way through adamantine walls of difficulties. Three things are necessary to make every man great, every nation great. 1. Conviction of the powers of goodness. 2. Absence of jealousy and suspicion. 3. Helping all those who are trying to be and do good. Feel, my children, feel. Feel for the poor, the ignorant, the downtrodden. Feel till the heart stops and the brain reels and you think you will go mad. Then pour the soul out at the feet of the Lord, and then will come power, help, and indomitable energy. Work as if on each of you depended the whole work. 50 centuries are looking on you. The future of India depends on you. Work on. One idea that I see clear as daylight is that misery is caused by ignorance and nothing else. Who will give the world light? Sacrifice in the past has been the law. It will be alas for ages to come. The earth's bravest and best will have to sacrifice themselves for the good of many, for the welfare of all. Buddhas by the hundred are necessary with eternal love and pity. What the world wants is character. The world is in need of those whose life is one burning love, selfless. That love will make every word tell like thunderbolt. Bold words and bolder deeds are what we want. Awake, awake, great ones. The world is burning with misery. Can you sleep? Let us call and call till the sleeping gods awake, till the God within answers to the call. What more is in life? What greater work? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arpita Didi. So I invite Divya to welcome the speaker, introduce the theme, and conduct the talk and discussion. So before handing it over to Divya, a gentle reminder and the general instructions for the audience. Kindly switch off your video camera and microphone during the webinar session. This is especially for those who are attending us on Google Meet. And for all of you, you can write your questions during the session in the chat box. Live questions will be taken up after the speaker or panelists have finished speaking. If you would like to be included in the mailing list or would like to share your valuable suggestions or feedback, or you want to join us in our regular classes and wish to receive notifications, may please email us to vscgnu@gmail.com. We would be very happy to have you there. Thank you. Divya, over to you.
Thank you, Alka. It is my privilege to welcome Swami Ishatmananda ji to the VSC JNU Study Circle's Vivekananda Birth Anniversary 2021 Lecture Series. Swami Ishatmananda ji is a senior monk of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission. He got associated with the order of the Ramakrishna Mission, Cherrapunji, Meghalaya, and was blessed with initiation by the 10th president of the order, Srimat Swami Vireshwarananda ji Maharaj. Forgive me. He was associated with the Advaita Ashrama, Kolkata, and English Publication Center of the Ramakrishna Mission for 12 years. He was bestowed with sannyas in 1986 by Srimat Swami Gambirananda ji Maharaj, the 11th president of the order. Swami Ishatmananda ji has worked at the well-known educational institution of the Ramakrishna Mission in Purulia, West Bengal. He was the vice president of the Uttar Purbanchal Ramakrishna Vivekananda Bhava Prachar Parishad, which has 59 centers all over Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Manipur. He was the principal cum secretary of the Ramakrishna Mission School, Narottam Nagar, Tirat, Arunachal Pradesh. More than 500 Arunachali tribal students stay in the ashrama under the guidance of the sannyasis. There is also a hospital, Swasti, and Vishwakarma Vidyalaya, where tribal girls receive vocational training. He has written many articles and given discourses on spiritual ideals in different parts of India. Swami Ishatmananda has also translated Swami Buddhananda's book, The Mind and Its Control, into Bengali. Swami Ishatmananda took charge as the president of the Vivekananda Vedanta Society of Chicago on 4th March 2013. Under his leadership, the Society observed the 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda through different programs from August to November 2013. In December 2014, Swami Ishatmananda was appointed to the religious advisor position at the University of Chicago. So I will begin my introduction with a few welcoming remarks on Swami Vivekananda's patriotism, and then over to you, Maharaj. Swami Vivekananda was a great patriot. However, like Gandhiji, Vivekananda's love for India transcended India. Indeed, it enveloped all of humanity, as his primary mission was to serve the divine dwelling in all humankind, albeit all too often covered up by a veil of ignorance. As he put it in a discourse called Vedanta as a Factor in Civilization, quote, people who are capable of seeing only the gross external aspects of things can perceive in the Indian nation only a conquered and suffering people, a race of dreamers and philosophers. They seem to be incapable of perceiving that in the spiritual realm, India conquers the world. No doubt, it is true that just as too active Western mind would profit by an admixture of Eastern introspection and the meditative habit, so that the Eastern would benefit by a somewhat greater activity and energy. Similarly, Gandhiji said, for the whole scheme for the liberation of India is based upon the development of internal strength. It is a plan of self-purification. The peoples of the West, therefore, can best help the Indian movement by setting apart specialists to study the inwardness of it. Indeed, both Gandhiji and Swami Vivekananda saw that the Indian inwardness was a peculiar way of understanding freedom, one which is distinct from the Western idea of freedom, which often seems premised in material freedom at the expense of the spiritual component. For, put simply, both a rich man and a poor man can be a slave to nature, Gandhiji and Swamiji pointed out, in other words. Therefore, it seems that Swamiji's primary aim was to reveal to the world that if Indians are dreamers, then dreams are powerful vibrations, capable of producing thoughts, which in turn manifest action, truth, and goodness in the world. Swamiji emphasizes service to the poor of India. However, he also warned against attachment to the idea that anyone is in need of another's help, the idea that others are dependent on us or we on them. Rather, he said that, quote, consciously or unconsciously, the whole universe is going towards that goal, that of freedom. As the moon is struggling to get out of the sphere of attraction of other bodies and will come out of it in the long run, each human being is destined to be free. Therefore, Swamiji's message of patriotism was that India keep to her path of internal self-purification, which can be realized through all of her many faiths, which are but manifestations of the one without a second. This has been the basis of India's contribution to the world civilization for thousands of years, and if the effect is the cause we produce, then so too shall it be in our own time, so long as India follows her inner compass. And with that, I am very happy to introduce Swami Ishatmananda Ji Maharaj to give his talk on Swami Vivekananda and the virtues of patriotism. Pranam Maharaj.
Namaskar. I think now you can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
So I will start by offering our stotra pranam to Swami Vivekananda. Namastri Yati Rajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchit Sukha Sarupaya Shamine Tapaharini. Namastri Yati Rajaya. We offer our respectful pranam, respect at the feet of the leader or the master of all the sannyasis, Yati Raja, the king of all sannyasis. And this sannyasi is the basis, main thing in the thinking or a thought of Swami Vivekananda. When you talk about today's topic particularly, the Vivekananda's patriotism, or is the Vivekananda is a patriot? And Dibya very nicely quoted. On what basis Vivekananda is a patriot? When we talk about the patriot, obviously a patriot of America, a patriot of India, they are enemies. Is Vivekananda that type of patriot? The one patriot who is loving his country, that geographical boundary, cannot love another geographical boundary. Is Vivekananda that type of patriot? No, not at all. The Vivekananda's patriotism is based on the love for humanity. So that is the way we have to think about Vivekananda's patriotism. The humanity, when you see, and Vivekananda sees from the point of view of the Vedanta, the humanity is nothing but the divinity that is hidden. And Vivekananda wanted to manifest that. When Sister Nivedita wanted to know from Swami Vivekananda, what is your life's philosophy? The Swamiji said, my philosophy can be said in 2 sentences: to make people aware about their divinity and to help them to manifest it. That's all. So when we think about the Swami Vivekananda, the great patriot, he loved India, does it mean he never loved America? Does it mean he never loved other countries, other people? No, it cannot be. So this is the way first we have to think. But he loved India and he introduced India. But how he introduced India? And you all know the first lecture that he delivered in response to the welcome in the 11th September 1893. And he said in this way, I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of the monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. I thank you in the name of the millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. So that way he is introducing India. The India is a spiritual country. The India is completely different than others. This is the first thing. But what actually made him in this way, that he became the patriot? We have to keep in mind that his philosophy to make people aware about their divinity and to help them to manifest it. And for that he said, freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is the first condition of growth. And again, that same Vivekananda said, in America, freedom, 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 freedom is the song of the soul. In India, when he was traveling and the length and breadth of the country, and when he saw that the so-called educated people, the rich people, they are constantly thinking how to satisfy their masters, the Britishers. And they have forgotten their countrymen. And obviously, Vivekananda couldn't like it. He was going to door to the kings, to the educated people, but seeing the condition of the ordinary people, then he cried out, lo, the descendants of the rishis have become next door neighbor to brutes. So that gave him the patriotism. He wanted to give them the status of a human being. But how? The Vivekananda brought back the self-confidence. That was his first contribution and the best contribution. Under the subjugation of many, many years, hundreds and hundreds of years, the Indians lost their self-confidence. Even now, we cannot think of anything good in India. When we see something made of India, we will know. If there is two things are there made of Germany or America, made of India, we will prefer to take that made of Germany or America than India. Why? Because we are still now we are not self-confident. Still now we are not thinking that we can do it. Vivekananda brought back the self-confidence in the hearts of millions of Indians. That is the first thing that he did. And how he did that? And he came over here in America, not in India. He traveled the length and breadth of India, but no one was listening. So he came to America, to the West. And if the West was appreciating anything, and our so-called leaders of the society, they used to think, oh, that is the great thing. So he came to the West, he came to America, and then he placed India over here. Think how the India is a wonderful country, the country of spirituality. Friends, we have to understand these. I really congratulate this, your Vivekananda Studies Circle, and it's a great university that you are studying, the JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and you are studying Vivekananda. And when you are talking and quoting from Vivekananda, I can understand that you are studying really very, very sincerely. Here also, some of the universities are having the study circle, but they mainly go for some Vedanta, some these and that, not so deep, I should say. But you people have taken up the correct, the right person and the philosophy. The Vivekananda's, this contribution, when we find that he is bringing back the self-confidence. A long back, 1886, Congress was formed in Bombay. But still, they could not demand the freedom till 1830. Almost all the years, every year, the resolution in the Congress, they were thinking that we should have a very good relation with those who are ruling us, particularly Britishers. So that was the way they were working. They could not think that we can become free. And if you read the majority of the literature, they used to express all their ideas, thinking about the nature and all. But after Swami Vivekananda declared freedom, 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 freedom is the first condition of growth. That's what, if you notice, the 13th March 1894, Rabindranath wrote, 1894, and he is writing, Ebar Firao More. In Bengali, 2 lines I will quote, allow me please. Ore tora ot aji, agun legeche kotha, kar shankh utiache baji, jagate jagot jane. And it is clearly indicating that Swami Vivekananda, Ore tora ot aji, arise today. And today you have to rise. Why? There's somewhere it is now burning. Agun legeche kotha. Kar shankh utiache baji. Someone has blown the conch and given the call, Jagate Jagot Jani, to arise the whole world. So that is the way Swami Vivekananda was appreciated by and slowly all our poets and the literates, they started writing about the freedom. Why freedom? Because Swami Vivekananda's, again I quote, first condition of growth. Unless and until we are free, we cannot develop. Friends, the patriotism, the sense of patriotism, that we belong to this country and we have some responsibility for this country, it was also the first time Vivekananda introduced. You know, the citizenship and the subjects. The citizen, he thinks about his own country. And the subject, the praja, he always thinks, king will do for me. And if you observe the psyche of the Indians, of the Asians, we always depend on the kings, on the rulers. They will come and do. Why? So that is the change we have to bring. That Vivekananda's patriotism means that change. You know, that when the Britishers were going from Calcutta to Murshidabad, to fight against that Nawab, Siraj-ud-Dowla, they must have passed so many villages, but not a single Indian in that time protested that. No one. Why? We are all praja. We are all subject. We have nothing to do with it. So the two kings will fight, and whoever will win, we will be under him. Our only concern that he should not increase the taxes. That was India. That only when the Britishers came in 18th century. So that is the way the thought was. But recently, when the Pakistan-India war was going on against the Siachen and all those places, then I was in Arunachal Pradesh, that there, all the children. So we teach them the 15th August, 26th January, we celebrate. And it was maybe it was 26th January or so. And that time a patriotic song, it became very popular. The Doodh mangoge to kheer dunga, and Kashmir mangoge to haath kaat dunga, something like that. I cannot quote properly. So that was the way the song was. I saw some of the kids, class 1, 2 grade. So with the national flag, we gave them. So they are running and singing this song, shouting, Kashmir mangonge to दूध mangoge to kheer dunga, Kashmir mangoge to haath kaat dunga. I hold that boy, hey, do you know where is Kashmir? He said, no. जानते हो कहाँ कश्मीर है? नहीं है, नहीं जानता. So that is the way, but still he is thinking that I will fight for the Kashmir. And that is called citizenship. And that is the contribution of Vivekananda. That way, Vivekananda really a patriot. So Vivekananda gave the confidence in the hearts of the people. Majority of our women, they used to leave behind the curtains. And the fathers of those girls and the ladies, they used to think, and they used to feel proud and they used to boast, even the sun cannot see my daughter. So they're the boastful statements that the father is to make. And that country was changed by one person, a 30 years young man, just by 1 or 2 lectures. So this is called patriotism. And what is that? He brought back the self-confidence. And what was that self-confidence? Narrow? No. Only I can do. Why Swami Vivekananda was bringing back only self-confidence, nothing else. Only self-confidence. Why? Because Vedanta. Vedanta says that you can do it, and it is possible for you to do it. If those people can do, why not you? So Vivekananda, his love for the country was based on humanism. And he traveled the length and breadth, saw the difficulties of the people and the masses and the women. So he said the freedom is necessary. And he loved India because of the manifestation of the highest spiritual values. So that's why he said this India is a holy land, Punna Bhumi. In one of the places, he is mentioning in this way, shall India die? This is a wonderful way he mentioned. If India die, then all the best things in the world will also get extinct. So that is Vivekananda's patriotism. Friends, here the Vivekananda's patriotism inspired each and everyone, and particularly the leaders, the fiery brand leaders of the Lal, Bal, Pal, these three, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Bipin Chandra Pal. They also got inspiration from Swami Vivekananda, and moderate leaders like Gandhiji, Nehru, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and many others. They all became inspired. And Raja Gopalachari, what is mentioned, that's the excellent way he expressed. But for Vivekananda, we would not have gained the freedom and would have lost our religion. So this Vivekananda inspired people, And what was his main purpose? First, self-confidence. Second, the plan of action. He used to say like that, plan of action, development of women and masses, and how? That was the question. In India, always everything was done through religion. The moment we say religion, immediately some people, they shrink. They think, oh, religion means a list of do's and don'ts. It is not. The religion, again and again, I say, is nothing but keeping the promises. What is dharma? Keeping the promises. In the Ramayana, the wonderful word that Sri Ramachandra said, Raghukula Riti Sadachali Ai Prana Yau Paru Bachan na jai. And we should not break the promise, because the human being means the dharma. Unless and until I am having the dharma, I cannot be considered as the human being. So obviously, we have to understand in a very clear way that dharma means keeping the promise. When you become a minister, the president, or anywhere I'm taking the responsibility, we take oath. And one should not break that oath. We must follow that. And that will be sufficient for his religion. What is Swadharma? In the Bhagavad-Gita, when you read Swadharma, what is that Swadharma? The responsibility that I have accepted, I must follow that. Become monk, we have also taken the oath. What difference is there? Then the you and me, nothing except the oath. I took the oath, and in the words of Swami Vivekananda, from me no danger be to aught that lead. So that is the promise I took. So that I have to keep. The sannyasi means samadrishti. I cannot differentiate. I should not differentiate. And that is why sannyasins are not supposed to be in the politics or power grabbing. Never, ever. Why? Because I have taken the oath. Otherwise, if I am breaking the oath, then I am not a sannyasi. I can become a politician, then I have to give up the sannyasa. So that is the main idea. The sannyasa means giving up all this attachment, and love, love, and love. So what is God? Swami Vivekananda's definition, unselfishness is God. The unselfishness, if we develop, and automatically there will be love. So love and unselfishness, and that we have to develop the spiritual life. The Vivekananda's spiritual, the idea is to develop the love and unselfishness. And that way, he is telling you have to serve the people. And to whom now, right this moment, Swami Vivekananda's time, he said, women and masses. Still the masses are left behind. We have to help them. How? Through education. The moment we talk about the help, we always go with the things, the food and clothing, and give, and we feel great satisfaction. Oh, we have helped them. For how long? The food only for a few hours, clothing only for a few days. But by that way, we cannot help. And why? All the time we have to help them in that way and make them beggars. Friends, I remember that before coming to America, I went to Kashi, Vrindavan, all those places. In the Kashi, someone gave me some $10 notes. 10 rupees. So the big bunch. So what I will do, so I was distributing that to the people sitting over there near the bank of the Ganga. They were all poor people. Then suddenly I noticed a middle-aged man. He was driving a cab. He saw and he stopped the cab, came running down and sat by the side of a beggar. And the driver also, he was a little shabby dress and he was not clean. So he thought that I won't recognize, he will also get just 10 rupees. So I came to him, instead of giving him, I gave the next person. He said, Swamiji, mere liye? Then I told, see, brother, you know how to drive the car and you can earn yourself. these people have come down on the street and they have no other place. This is the last resort they have. They are sitting over on here on the street and begging. Begging is not a good thing. The ultimate, the way that they are just for surviving. Never ever do it. You know driving, so you earn and leave the head high. Rather, you give some donation to this type of people who cannot help themselves. Then, he got up. I thought you'll be angry. No. He touched my feet and then he got up. Self-confidence went back. So this is the way we have to treat people. Constantly helping materially. No, that is not the. How? Then Swamiji said, education. And what type of education? I will, in brief, I should say, the Swamiji gave three. First, he said, I want that education by which one can stand on his own feet. So first is that, not that everyone has to get a graduate certificate or a master's degree. No, why? Only those education by which I can earn. I was in Andaman. So in Andaman, I was for 8 years. And there were some destitute boys who used to look after them. I always give that example because I saw it, that it really, really works. One boy, he passed class 9, but he was not interested to continue the study. Then I asked him, what do you want to do? I want to be a cook. I love cooking. Then I put him into our kitchen. Well, learn from here. Then when he was learning, the cook was very appreciating almost every day. He's a very good boy. He learns very fast. And then I found one of our ex-students. He is the manager of a big hotel. Then I told, can you please teach him how to make all those things, arrangements and everything. So that way he can go to a big hotel. So he was trained over there. I used to send him to different devotees' houses to learn how to make the cake, pastry, so that he can use that knowledge too. So afterwards, the then Lieutenant Governor, he had a very good relation with me, the Gupta ji. He came to visit the ashram. I asked that boy to arrange his food. Gupta ji was very much impressed. When I told, this is the boy has got this training, he told Swamiji, put his name in the list and I will see. So in the employment exchange, so we sent his name. Within a few days, he got the job and he started earning money in thousands. And when I was in Arunachal Pradesh, I got a phone call from him. He said, Swamiji, I have given up the job. I got a lot of money. Now I've started my own hotel because a lot of tourists, they go to Andaman. He has started that hotel and earning. And now he has given employment of 4 or 5 boys. Can you imagine? The same story I can tell. Why each and every one has to go to college? Everywhere colleges, everywhere the young people are going. And after coming out, if you ask them, what do you know? So this we have to understand. Swamiji's education policy make them in such a way so that they can stand on his own feet. And we have to change in the society. Slowly it is coming up, the idea that unless and until you are a white-collar job, people cannot respect you. Here, I think the last year, one lady came into my office and she said, I'm a doctor, an American lady. And her husband, an American, do you know what he's? He's a truck driver. There's a huge, big trucks. So they were not hesitant to say that. The lady introduced her husband. Oh, my husband is a truck driver. And the gentleman was also with great another pride. He said, yeah, I drive this. So that is the way we have to understand. Each stand on his own feet. Swami Vivekananda said, a cobbler can mend a shoe, but he cannot rule a country. A king can rule a country, but can he mend a shoe? Each is great in his own place. So this, through education, this mentality we have to bring. And second, he said, man-making, character building. Now, when I look at you people, and when I read our Vivekananda study circle, I was so happy. This is the first time that I'm meeting you, getting introduced. Man-making, character building. And what is a man? Who can be called as a man? The who is having only two qualities. As we are standing on 2 feet, like that, Shraddha and Kritagata. Shraddha means the faith, and Kritagata, the gratefulness. These are the two. Friends, I don't know whether you have heard it, I told you many a times, that this Kritagata, the gratefulness, unless and until it is there, one cannot be considered as a human. In the first millennium day, the Lieutenant Governor took me to Kachal, an island in Andaman Islands. So we all went near to that. In the Bay of Bengal, the first sunrise, that was beautiful, I cannot forget that. And there, as a Hindu monk, I was worshipping the sun, the rising sun, Jaba Kushuma Shankasham Kashyapiyam Mahadutim, like that. And I was pouring little Ganga water into that ocean water. And then afterwards, I went to a corner of the ship. I was in the ship, and most of the people, they went to the island, the Kachal, and they were celebrating. I was alone. So when I was trying to meditate, I found that some of the people, they are with the cameras, they're focusing on me. Then I told, who are you and what you are doing? They say that we are from CNN and we like to take an interview. And to me, the governor is there and all other big officers are there, take their interview. Why me? Well, then they said, sir, this is a phenomena, of course, and we are not going to be in the next millennium. That way we are celebrating. But why you are worshipping the sun, which is nothing but a star? This is the question we like to ask you. And by the grace of Swamiji, I got that answer immediately. And I told them, suppose you are hungry, suppose you are thirsty, without little food and drink, you are going to die. If that very moment someone come and help you, give you food, give you water, will you forget that person? They said, no. Oh, you'll be always grateful to that person for saving our life. I will look at the sun. Without the sun, none of us will survive. And shall we not be grateful to the sun? We know that is the star. But still the Hindus are grateful because of these. And that's why we worship the river. We know that is the river, but it helps us. We worship the trees. We worship the air. We worship everything. That's why the Hindus are worshipping from the gratefulness to the faith, the Shraddha and Kritagata. These are the two. And what is Shraddha? Faith. Faith in the words of the teachers and faith in yourself. I can do it. And second is the character. And what is character? You have to stick to your ideology. And even when the threats are coming and facing the death, one should not go from the ideology. And that is called character. So one should be strong in the mind, in his thought, in his philosophy, that he can stand everything. That is called character. And these two, when they are there, these two qualities, Shraddha and Kritagata, faith and gratefulness, that's called the human. The man-making, character-building education. And then finally it says, the third, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. And that is nothing but divinity. When a person becomes perfect, he is nothing but God, and no imperfection. And when one can become perfect, when one becomes completely unselfish and become full of love, that is called the perfection. Friends, I think I should not take much time. And moreover, I have another talk that is over here in America. In Indian, everything is nothing but religion. And that religion, you must remember, the religion means keeping the promises. And long back in the Upanishad, we find that young boy, Nachiketa, in the Katha Upanishad, when his father was doing something that was not proper, he was giving all the old cows as a gift to he was distributing, but and hiding some of the good cows that son didn't like. That you are supposed to give all things. So he said to his father, I am also your property. He cannot go and rectify the father and say, hey, why you are doing like that? No. With the respect for the father, he went and said, so this, I will give the answer afterwards, a little another 2-3 minutes. So he said that I am also a property, father, whom you are now giving me to the person. This father angrily said, I give it to the Yoma. They go to the god of death. And there, immediately the father understood the mistake. When his father was telling, just angrily, I said, son, you did not to go. Then this young boy said, Bahuna memi pratama, Bahuna memi mattava, kim siddhi yamasya kartavyam yanmayartha karishyati. Among many, I am the first. I am many, I am the second. I am never the last. Then why you have given me to the death? That is called Shraddha. That is called the self-confidence. And then he was telling to his father, once you have promised, you must keep the promise. Otherwise, the human life will be like the grasses, taking the birth and then dying. Human life means keeping the promises. Vada kiya, to vada nibhane padega. That is the dharma. And when you are practicing that, a tremendous strength will come. Once I have promised, I must have to keep the promise. When they at the time of marriages, they take 7 promises. And if they keep that promises, then marriage will never break. At the time of sannyasa, we also take so many promises. If we keep that promise, one can not only realize God, but also become a great sannyasi, helping many others. So this is the way I should say Vivekananda's patriotism is based on spirituality. And that spirituality is not bound by any boundary. For India, he thought that these people need the freedom, and freedom of speech, freedom of education, freedom of economy, freedom of religion. So that was the political freedom was necessary. So he inspired them. And in America and in Europe, the people were under the subjugation of the churches. They constantly used to teach them that you are a sinner and you must have to come to church. You must have to follow this. You are a sinner, sinner, sinner. You know what Vivekananda said? He said, it is a sin to call a man so. The human beings are not sinners. They're the children of immortal bliss. From the point of view of the Vedanta, they're all divine. So then he said, freedom is the song of the soul. That is his patriotism. It's not narrow. It's not bound by only one country. Vivekananda's patriotism is based on love for humanity. Thank you, friends. So now, if there is time, we can talk to I will. Yeah. Alka?
Maharaj, there are a few questions in the chat box. So my own questions, as you can read them. The first question is, why have we as a nation forgotten Swamiji? And number 2, how can we catch his fire?
So no, you have not forgotten. So if people have, if you were reading, if you were remembering, so Swamiji has not been forgotten. But you know, the society is that only that. Whatever is there, some good thing, immediately some people will try to grab it. And this is nature. But you know, always there will be many, many others who will take the Swami Vivekananda's teaching properly and not only change their own life, but also they will change the whole society. The Vivekananda is not forgotten, it cannot be. People will have to remember. Now, the next question. I'm a little hurry because another program waiting.
Yes, the next question is Alka is asking, can patriotism be expressed outside the easily recognizable public context?
Say again, please.
Can patriotism be expressed outside the easily recognizable public context?
The patriotism, of course. The patriotism, as I was again and again trying to bring home that idea, that Swami Vivekananda's patriotism is a world. The whole world was his country. So he loved the human being. Wherever people are suffering, if you go and help them, that's why Swami Vivekananda said, my gods are those whom by mistake you call as man, the oppressed, the downtrodden, the illiterate. They are my special object of worship. That is also patriotism. Wherever, if you go, and here in America, there are people that are really suffering. There are so many beggars, and nowadays because of the economical crunches. So when we go and help them, so that is also patriotism, because we love people and we want that each and every one should stand on their own feet with faith and respect in themselves. Of course. Thank you. One else, anything?
Okay, Maharaj. So these are the questions for now. And
Okay.
since you have another talk lined up, thank you so much for being here. I would like to hand over the mic to Tanushri for the vote of thanks.
Tanusri.
Thank you, Arpita. On behalf of VSC JNU, I extend my gratitude to our speaker, Reverend Swami Ishatmananda ji, for enlightening us. We are deeply thankful, Swamiji, for taking out the time to deliver a talk. I am thankful to all the members of VSC JNU, Arpita, Arun, Anindita Didi, Namrata, Srilekha, for their constant inputs and suggestions at every step. I extend my special thanks to Swagata Didi for poster design, Alka for hosting the meeting, Prachi for chanting Shanti Mantra, Arpita for reading out excerpt from Swami Vivekananda, and Divya for introducing the speaker. I would like to thank Sri Anirban Chakravarti, who has served as the foundation for the entire event and for taking hold of the technical team. His calm approach, continuous guidance, and silent walk is a great catalyst in bringing this event to a success. Thank you, everyone, for joining and for your contribution to the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you giving me an opportunity to talk to you. As a look at my back, maybe you are seeing that it's all snowing. So
Yes.
from snow, from a cold of Chicago, I offer my all best wishes to you people. Be very good people, very good person, every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. We'll close with the Shanti Mantra. Would you like to say something else, Maharaj?
No, thank you.
Yeah, we'll close with the Shanti Mantra.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. May all be prosperous and happy. May all be free from illness. May all see what is spiritually uplifting. May no one suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pranam Maharaj.
Thank you.